Someone decided this depiction of Christ's death needed a little sprucing up. It's amazing how the beliefs of disparate cultures can become intertwined over time.
Lara, you find anything yet?
Abby's friend mentioned a crypt somewhere around the library. I'll meet you there. December 30th, 1603. Lopez has just returned from a nearby village, and with him came a group he says will follow him and help us with construction. There was something strange about his behavior. I attributed it to the long journey through the jungle. That night, however, he admitted what had been bothering him. "They followed me," he whispered. "The others." He walked off. I spent that sleepless night worrying about his deviations toward madness.
So there's a crypt around here somewhere?
A secret crypt.
Why secret? If Lopez is involved, there's bound to be a trick.
That's a solid theory. What about you? Did you find anything?
I got a pamphlet. 7 steps closer to God.
Who knows? Maybe it'll help.
Let me know when you're ready to go.
Someone once said if you really want to learn about a town, you have to visit their graveyards. I don't know why. One is the same as the next. Some might be a little more orderly, with neat rows, or they're like this one, where it feels more natural and unplanned.
These collars were used abroad the Nostromo, likely ferrying the captured indigenous people back to Spain to be sold as slaves. I wonder how it ended up here.
Calling me a witch? Huh. Imagine.
I'm sorry?
I'm a herbalist. A shamefully unrecognized branch of medical science. And that child's grandmother was a dowser. The things people ignore that are right in front of their noses.
Some people are afraid to believe in what they can't understand.
Ha! You sound like Isa.
Isabella, the archaeologist. You know her.
A smart girl. A good researcher. And unafraid to admit there are things she doesn't know. She's the one who broke the cross. By climbing on it. I don't know what was in her head. I tried to stop her, but she was very upset about something. Angry and full of grief at the same time.
Do you know where she is now? I'm looking for her.
I don't know. After the cross broke, she ran away, but I didn't see which direction. In the state she was in, I knew better than to try to interfere with her. I'm sorry.
That's all right. You've given me more information than I had. Do you need some help with this cross?
I do. But first we have to get those children out of the way. It isn't safe for them to be running around while we work. That blind trickster filled their heads with tales of treasure, and they think I mean to steal it.
I'll talk to them.
Hey, get away from here. It's our treasure.
It's getting quite late. How about postponing the hunt until tomorrow?
No, we're not leaving till we find it.
We'll sleep here if we have to.
Oh, I hope it doesn't come to that. Is there anything I can do to help?
No, we told you. You're not getting our treasure. Manu said if we find it, we can keep it.
That's a shame. The sisters told me you were very good at sharing, and I do know a lot about treasure hunting.
You know the sisters?
She could tell on us.
I won't tell if you won't tell. I have a secret too. I'm the brave adventurer Lara Croft.
Whoa! We won't tell. You can help us. If you find the treasure, we'll split it, even.
You've got a deal. What do you need?
Manu told us we need to solve a riddle to find the treasure.
Are you any good at riddles?
I'm an expert. Let's hear it.
I want you to take my supply.
I'm nourished when the heavens cry.
If I get sick, a village dies.
Who am I? figure out the riddle yet?
You must do something to get those children out from underfoot.
Impossible. I can't carry anymore.
I'll wait here for you.
El daño es bastante grande.
Feels like a mausoleum.
Means we're on the right track, right? Jonah, I feel something. We're getting close. Let's look around for signs of Lopez. And under his wings you may seek refuge. Under his wings.
These notes were written by the founder of the second set. They're talking about funds allocated for renovations to the library.
A heron and an eclipse. "25th of December, 1603. It has been 4 days since we turned away from the city. We traveled in silence and in circles, guided by a confusion of grief, relief, and celebration. Lopez and I exited the jungle and landed in a clearing, under the gaze of several faces carved into the side of the mountain. Lopez had an episode, as he later called it. He threw himself in front of the faces and screamed for forgiveness. The heaviest sin on his heart was abandoning Perez to the strange warriors. They had grown close over the journey. Try as I might, I could not console him, so I built a fire and waited, as he decreed his actions and pleaded for forgiveness from the silent stone faces. This cross, it looks like it's from the 17th century. The door closed and a silence settled, so great and so vast I held my breath for fear of breaking it. Lopez turned to me, his eyes wild, a smile screwed across his face. He came to it across my heart, but he pulled me close, his fingers digging into my shoulders. "I found it," he whispered in my ear, and releasing me, he wandered through this room, walls of pure jade reaching up to the heavens, completely covered in intricate etched mosaics and carved figures. I followed at a distance as he approached an altar, and watched as he lifted a silver box from it. 26th of December, 1603. Lopez woke me, having already prepared a Spartan breakfast. "This is where we were meant to be," he said, a cold determination in his voice, so very different from how he acted just the day before. I finished my meal as he spoke of holy retribution, how he had acted in error, but now God had put his hands on his shoulders and shown him the path to walk. "We will spread the true word of God from this small mission," he said, pointing to an adobe building just beyond the stone faces. "We will prepare the path for the chosen one to follow, for only he who does will be worthy of this box." All full up. Can't carry any more. John, son of Zebedee, one of Jesus' apostles, also called the beloved disciple. He and his brother James were known for their impetuousness and temper, which prompted Christ to start calling them Boanerges, sons of thunder. John is credited with writing 5 books of the New Testament, the Gospel of John, the 3 epistles of John, and the Book of Revelation. He's the patron saint of love and loyalty, as well as writers, publishers, and scholars. One of his symbols is a serpent in a cup, which is linked to his patronage of victims of poisoning and burns. The sun will be darkened, and the moon will not give its light. Jonah, those 2 Bible quotes. The sun will be darkened, and under his wings you may seek refuge.
What does it mean?
That's it. Look for a heron and an eclipse. This roughly drawn sketch shows St. John repelling a demon attack. Perhaps they plan to have this as one of the frescoes in the mission. Brother de la Cruz appeared one day, emerging from the jungle, breathing new life into the mission. There were just the 3 of us when he arrived, and Sister Dorothea had been ill for many weeks. He and his associate began to work that first day. By the next week, de la Cruz had recruited a workforce of 3 dozen. They have prepared the bell tower and worked the fields, planting crops. Brother de la Cruz aims to make us self-sufficient. We'd spent so long alone out here, I'd worried we'd lose God's ear. Lo and behold, we not only had his ear, but he sent another to act as his hands as well.
Tardaremos eternidades. ¿Cuántos años?
Stone faces weep as Jesus creeps along the dolorous path. Too many died. More will still, and more will still, and more will still. His light leads the way.
Un paso a la vez, un día a la vez.
Como si tuviéramos elección.
There's a whole mural under here. Cruz. The true cross.
Is that what I think it is?
The silver box. It's unmistakable.
Jesus takes up the cross. These are the stations of the cross. But there's a bunch missing.
Before 1600, there were only 7. This could date back to the time of Lopez.
This is one of his clues.
Yeah, it's the kind of thing he does.
All right. Let's see if we can find a cross lying around here somewhere. When we find the cross, how do we get the key back from the DJs?
We'll find a way.
It seems you have to have all that responsibility. Must be recovered.
I can only imagine. The others are worried that Brothers de la Cruz and Serrano will not return. I have so far maintained they will, that they always have. But in my heart, I am beginning to believe we have seen the last of them, and that grief weighs heavily. We will continue their work. Either they will return to find we have not forgotten the teachings, or they will look down on us from above and bless our continued labors.
Found something?
Yeah. Jesus takes up the cross. Help me lift this.
That actually worked.
Looks like a long way down. Let's see where this leads. Station 2. Jesus falls the first time.
There's an inscription here. Ambulate dum lucem habitis.
Walk while you have the light.
I wouldn't want to be buried in here. My head tossed behind a cross somewhere.
Walk while you have the light, so that the darkness may not overtake you,
Sounds like a hint.
or a threat.
This looks like the Virgin Mary.
Station 3. Jesus meets his mother.
The mirror looks dusty. I'll give you a boost. Hey, work. The light leads this way. What happened to these people?
Looks like the light activated something.
Lara!
This must be Station 4.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at these frescoes. I'll need to direct the light beam towards the fresco of Veronica.
These people look like they were tortured.
I don't think this was just a crypt. Direct the light beam towards the fresco of Veronica. There's a woman in this one. Look, someone else got close. He wasn't as lucky. He's fallen. Looks like he's accepting the cross here. I'll get it.
Station 5. Jesus falls the second time. Lara, is that what I think it is?
The Stations of the Cross again.
But with mummies. Isn't this sacrilegious?
Not necessarily. They could have been paying the ultimate homage.
Or they were just sick.
This must be Station 6.
Looks like a
They're
church.
carrying him.
These ones are posed like monks.
Uh-huh. They're lifting him. She's wiping his face, I think.
So Lopez staged the whole crucifixion of the Seems sacrilegious.
I think this was a place of worship. Jesus, nailed to the cross. I think he's taking up the cross. He's carrying the cross.
This is disgusting. I'm glad I wasn't around when Lopez was.
They're carrying him.
That inscription. Do not fear those who kill the body, but are unable to kill the soul. Is that meant for us?
Don't let Lopez get in your head. He's caused enough trouble already.
Okay, let's do this.
What's the first step of the crucifixion?
Not sure.
Strange, there are only 7 stations. This must be based on an older tradition. Jesus takes up the cross, falls the first time, meets his mother. Then Veronica wipes his face before he falls the second time. Then he is crucified, and finally entombed.
Maybe it's on the pamphlet.
Jesus, nailed to the cross. What's the first step of the crucifixion?
Not sure. Maybe it's on the pamphlet.
Wiping his face, I think.
What the hell happened here?
Lopez had his disciple wall him in, and then... bang.
No witnesses?
Only the hands of the righteous one may seize destiny from mine.
I guess it's you then.
He led us on this goose chase. He sabotaged every clue.
All to keep this box from Trinity.
And the people of Paititi. He was totally consumed by it.
Where is she?
I don't know.
I just need the box.
Fuck you!
Well, I guess we're done here.
Amaru!
Stop!
Let him go! Release him, and I will give you the box.
Lara, what are you doing?
I've lost enough people.
I know you have. Your father was brilliant.
He was taken from me before I could know.
He was my friend. But he was obsessed relentlessly.
You didn't know him.
He refused to see the potential for destruction in his work. He had to be stopped.
You had him killed.
He was going to lead the public to Paititi. Everything I love, everything I fought for. My world would have been destroyed.
And what about my world?
You can't think it's the same.
It is to a 9-year-old girl. I was a child.
There was too much at stake. An entire civilization, hundreds of years of independence, thousands of lives. I had no choice.
There's always a choice. It's not too late. You can honor Unuratu and restore the sun.
No. The threat must be removed.
You're a low, selfish, murdering coward.
And you, Lara? How many lives have you ended? In pursuit of what? Lara! Go! Stop him!
Hell no. If there's any change in our status, he'll tell us. Crack the can and it's all over. A volcano. What next? Commander Rourke?
Keep this channel clear.
But sir, we're hearing disruption to our northwest.
The situation is being handled. I say again, keep this channel clear. Rourke out.
Who builds a mission next to a volcano?
Gotta look everywhere. Taking casualties! This is Rourke. Jonah Maeva has the box, and Lara Croft was last seen in the church.
It was chaos in there. Obviously. Mrs. Croft, there was something more important to worry about. These people just don't give up. Damn it, she's hunting us! Man down! Copy that. On. Ready to engage. Hunting us. Let's get this. Man down! Copy that. Weapons free. We're taking casualties. Keep within a couple of yards of each other. As soon as she pops her head out.
There, maybe.
Negative on search. Can't be far. Let's have a look. You might as well just give up.
Jonah, where are you?
I'm in the cane field. They can't see me.
Keep your head down. I'm on my way.
Canefield, all units. Priority 1. Find Lara Croft.
You heard the commander. Let's go hunting.
Croft, I know you're out there. I should have killed you in Siberia, but Dominguez was against it. That's on me. But I'm gonna fix that mistake. Now. I know you're out there. I should have killed you in Siberia, but Dominguez was against it. That's on me. But I'm gonna fix that mistake. Now.
Hey, where are you?
Oh, I don't like this.
Hey, did you know they're still rum in some of these barrels?
For Christ's sake, Morgan, do your job. Croft is on the loose. She wouldn't stick around here. All right, let's go. I'll take point. Something isn't right. Hey, it's Morgan. Holy shit, I was just talking.
Everybody, Morgan's missing. Find him, now.
Go ahead.
Cardinal 6, got visual on Croft. He's at the distillery.
Deacon team, deploy.
Deacon's on the ground, Commander.
Let's get her.
Lara, I'm in a chopper. I've got a pilot.
What?
Hurry!
Give me that box.
No!
Are you okay?
I'm okay. It's fine.
Jonah!
Oh, God.
Ready?
Oh, yeah. I got it. I'm good.
What the hell were you thinking?
If I was you, it would have worked.
They might not get far.
Go.
Go, we got this.
This is Cardinal 1. Engine stall at 5. Losing altitude. Attempting cold restart. Wait one. Proceed. started. Rerouting controls. Man, this is Cardinal 1. All systems functional. Back on course for heading 327.
Only one chance. How much longer to Paititi?
Almost there. I'm sorry I lost the box.
It's not your fault. It's Dominguez. It's Trinity. All the way back, as far as I can remember, it's always been them. I could have had a family. Everything could have been different. We will get the box, and we will stop Dominguez. Your Highness.
Lara. Where's the box?
Amaru has it.
But the death of the sun draws near.
We'll get it back before he completes the ritual.
This will not be easy. We'll have to adjust the plan. Please, take your time to prepare yourself. We'll gather intelligence and fighters.
Thank you.
I'll stay here and lend Uchu a hand. Let me know if you need anything.
Okay.
I'm telling you, Uchu, I have never heard of anyone getting bitten by a piranha on land before.
It was a very angry fish.
I bet.